So, yes, we are live. Hello, everyone, and thank you for watching us in yet another very, very wonderful, powerful episode of the Wellness Friday. And as promised, we are going to bring in some amazing guests. So, we have our next guest today. It's a beautiful person inside out, Dr. Priyanka Gandhi, consulting homeopath, physician, also counselor and an amazing person, amazing human being. And it's an honor to have her here. So welcome, Dr. Priyanka.
Thank you so much, Ashwini. You know what? I always say that people who
Hmm.
find beauty in others are beautiful themselves. So I think this applies to you, where you are doing an amazing work with Unicorn Insight, and
Thank you.
healing today is so very important in today's life. So you are
Absolutely.
doing an amazing work, your Facebook
Thank,
group, your YouTube channel, everywhere, in trying to create that awareness, getting more people into the healing part. So, and it's an
thank
honor to
you.
be here live with you. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm just overwhelmed and deeply touched. So thank you so much. And yes, as you said, today's world really requires healing. And the best part about today's world also is that we have so many amazing people like you and me who are willing to actually go out and share that healing is required, and we are doing our little bit. जैसे वो रामायण में story थी, that little squirrel, she did her bit to build the bridge. So I think we all are doing our little bit, and I'm sure the upcoming
Trying to
days,
make a better world.
yes, trying to make a better world, touch lives. So yes, I'm so excited to have you. And this was something which I had planned since I think January, and we had spoken. And I was like, Priyanka, we really want you online. And you were like, "Ha, Ashwini, we will do that." Or karte karte, finally it's happening today on the holy day. So happy Holi to you. I hope you had lots of fun
Oh,
playing
yes.
Holi.
Yes. my
Playing.
face will, my face must be showing how much holy I played today.
But that's lovely, isn't it? Because that
Yes.
is the beauty of festivals, and that's the beauty of everything. So yes, so today's topic is very interesting, and when I spoke to Priyanka, that Priyanka kuch will do some talk, so she suggested this topic: emotions, and relationships, and their role in our lives, and also the significance of homeopathy in relationships. Now, um, I just want to first ask you, or rather, take my first question. What exactly are we talking about when we are talking about relationships? And secondly, why are relationships important? So, over to you. Would like to know more.
So here, as you said, I'm here to talk about relationships. So
Yes.
why they are important is what
Right.
your question is.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you ask anybody about health, everybody talks about physical health or
Yes.
physical disease, and
Correct.
there are very few who will be aware, who are more aware than the others. They will talk about emotional health and mental health, right? But all of us forget that relationships are at the base of everything.
Very
They are
true.
at the bottom line. It is a pivotal point around which our whole life revolves. They are
Yes.
so very important. So,
Absolutely.
and when I had actually put up this topic and to you, my
Yeah.
niece, who's 13-year-old, and she
Mhm.
just said that, Bua, you have taken such a narrow topic about relationships. Because for
Okay.
her, it was that relationships is just a husband and wife relationship, that is a
Okay.
spouse relationship
Okay.
that we're
Wow.
talking about.
A romantic relationship or a couple relationship. Okay.
Yes,
Wow.
but I want to put it forward that it's not only that relationship, it's a relationship that you have with your parents, you have with your kids, a
Yes.
relationship between a boss and an employee, a relationship
Absolutely.
between siblings, between friends, between your in laws, the relationship that, a daughter in law, father in law, mother in law share with each other. So
Wow.
it's all
Yes.
about, it's all these relationships that we are talking about. And most importantly, the relationship that we have with our own self. Yeah.
Of course.
So we tend to neglect and we forget that we have a relationship with our own
With our
self also, and which
wow.
is so very important and which is so very neglected. And
Yes.
as we go through the talk
We're
today, and
talking.
I will come
Yes.
up that how this is the base or the cause for almost all the illnesses that we are facing in today's world with everybody
Well
around.
said. Well said.
So,
Well said.
being
Because
humans, being social animals, relationships are very important and they impact our day-to-day lives. Yeah, and
mm,
I'm sure
mm,
most of us or who all are listening, who are watching this live right now, is that everybody can connect to some or the other relationship in their
true.
life, which could
True.
be a little tedious or a little stressful or little here and there. So I
Right.
think it, and when there is a relationship which is toxic or which is not very comfortable, your
Right.
whole life feels like a juggle. You are juggling between, and that is what creates a lot of stress. And so that is
Mm,
why it's very important primarily to understand that relationships are very important and how they can be impactful in our lives.
wow. Wow. And so well said, because a lot of people um they look at symptomatic treatment when it comes to illness, and the symptoms go away and the illness comes again. And when people, when we are talking to people like me as a Reiki practitioner, when I'm talking to someone who is going through a chronic pain, okay, for example, and when we ask them what's going on, what else is going on, and then you come to know that okay, there is this troubled relationship, or there is something which has happened which has made the person in such a manner that for years they have numbed out their pain. Okay,
Yes,
and yeah, they've numbed out their pain, and the words they use is, Priyanka, is I'm very strong. And I tell them, no, darling, you're not strong. You just showed it under the carpet, you just numbed it. And
exactly.
yeah, and then you
Because
realize
how
that,
many times will your body knock? No, it knocks every day. But when you don't listen, at the end, finally it gives up because you are deaf to your own body. And that's
yes,
why when I said the relationship first starts with your own self, forget
your
about
own
the other
self.
people who exists in your life.
My God,
So
and that's such a big, that's a big one. And I think, this awareness, it's what I feel is very important. And I've been always been a very keen believer in homeopathy, and I've seen miracles in my own life. I always talk about this to you when I was a child, where my parents took me to a homeopathic physician and I cured miraculously. It was a miracle. And I also realized that whenever I used to talk to that doctor uncle too, even he used to keep asking me, so आपको स्कूल में क्या अच्छा लगता है, आपके कितने, he used to talk to me very much in detail. And I used to say, wow, I like this doctor, he doesn't give me injection and he always talks
yes,
to me. But what I understood was he was trying to look at how I am emotionally, and how things are going on with me. So it's really important that people, so all of you who are watching it live, also people who are going to watch this later, because Priyanka, this will also be put up on our Unicorn University group
right.
on the YouTube channel. So I know a lot of people will watch it probably later today, maybe those all who are playing Holi with children or traveling probably. So this is a very important point, and please take note of it. And yes, so thank you, Priyanka, for sharing that. So that was my first question: is why are relationships important? And I've made a point of it, so that I don't miss out on anything.
It's not
Um,
anything. No.
so now, how do relationships cause stress, and how does that amount to disease? Can we talk a little bit on that?
Right. So I will. So that's what we just spoke, that relationships are the base for a holistic health of an individual, which
Yes,
includes the
yes,
mental and the physical health. Right.
yes,
So
yes.
so relationships when they are stressful, it's always you have some people pleasers, or when there is a relationship which is out of fear, where the base
Right.
is not love. where the base is fear,
Mm.
or where the base is anxiety, or
Correct.
there is a toxicity between two people. So trying
Right.
to have a balance between your needs and the opposite person's needs, it can be very tricky at times.
Yeah.
A-
Yeah.
an employee and a boss, and an over dominating boss, or
Yes.
how a subdued employee. So all of this can be very stressful, right? And it
Right.
studies have shown that all these relationship problems that a person goes through in his or her life have an impact deeply on the physical body as well. So not only does
Mm.
it affect the mind, right? It also affects the physical body. So, for example, such people can go through depressive phases or anxiety phases,
Right.
or so nowadays all this depression, anxiety,
Yeah.
all this is on a very high rise. Weight gain,
Yes.
unexplained weight gain. So I have so many patients who come down to the clinic. Absolutely, they eat healthy, they exercise, everything they are doing, but still they say, doctor, 100 gram bhi vajan kam nahi hota. So you understand there is something beyond, so much beyond your physical and physiological causes, and when you dig, as you
Yeah.
said, your childhood homeopath, when you dig deep inside them, you understand that these are the causes, the relationship stresses. This is the emotional disturbance that they have in their lives, is the cause that is generating the problem. All kind of stress disorders that we need. So today everything, you say hypertension, hyperthyroid, you
Yeah.
say sleep, lack of loss of sleep. People complain so
Lots of.
much that I don't get sleep. So this is where, and this is how these relationships, disturbed relationships, disturbed emotions can have an impact.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So these are all the things, and these feelings of bitterness or hatred or anger or
Yeah.
fear, these are all what we consider as negative emotions, right? I'm sure
Right.
you deal with such people, when you are into
Right.
when you are into Reiki healing and all.
Yeah.
You come
Yeah.
across with so many people
So
who have
many.
suppressed desires, emotions. So all these things, they create an imbalance in our body, and they also create imbalance at the bodily reactions, that is at the
Mm.
physiological. And that's why initially whenever you have any patient, you will always see that they are suffering with some functional disorder, because
Mm.
first primarily the body will go into a functional imbalance, then
Right.
it progresses to a structural deformity and to a pathological level, where there
Mm.
is, it goes towards the irreversible side. So every time the body is knocking, every
Yeah.
time the body is telling you that please take care of me, please take care of me, and we need to hear that out, right? So this is how, all this is how it will impact, or it does impact our day to day life. When we say it impacts our body also, and deeply at a very pathological level. So, and 99 of the, and so when we say that about a relationship with our own self, right?
Yeah.
It's about
Yeah.
our self love. And when you don't have, when you're very harsh on yourself, when you are very critical, towards your own self, the rise of the probability of autoimmune pathologies increase here, because autoimmune, to be in lame, in simple words, it simply
Yeah.
means your body is fighting against its own cells. Like, it doesn't consider my own body as friendly, it will consider it's an enemy and attacks.
Enemy.
That is, yes, that is autoimmune, no? Because,
Yeah.
so whatever happens on your mental and emotional pain, exactly the same thing happens on your body.
Of course.
So that's why they are so very important, and that's why when you asked, what do we do, which topic, I thought that this is the best topic to come across, because
Yes.
this is what we need to understand first, that first the people do not have this idea that it impacts and how
Right.
gravely it impacts,
Right.
and we need to make this, create this awareness that it does. So it's high time that we come out in the open and speak about it.
Yes.
What do you say?
Yes, totally. Because I'll tell you one thing, Priyanka. This is something which I have observed. A lot of clients with whom I work with, um, they are too much concerned about what the world will think and not what they want. Okay.
Exactly.
So even when they make choices of relationships now, this is not just romantic, this is all, including your partners, including family, including going out with people, maybe on a for a social function. They say that I don't like to go and meet those people. They are very mean to me, but I still have to go na, nahi to bura dikhega. And then they come back and then they say that no, I went to meet those set of people and they were very mean to me, they were very harsh to me. I was crying for 2 days and I was like, why did you go? So a lot of times, as you rightly said, people choose fear over love. Okay,
Yes.
people do a lot of people pleasing. They believe that if I please these kind of people, certain aspect of my life will improve, will change. But the truth is,
It's
nothing will
vice
change
versa.
until it's vice versa, until you change yourself. Also, a lot of people, when you talk about self love, they say, no, 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 don't tell me that. I'm not going to do something like that. Because self love is an underrated term, it is a misunderstood term. And basically, people think that the more harsh of or critical you are of yourself, the smarter and intelligent you are. And if you are, if you are a easy going, flowing person, which means you are completely in acceptance of your own life and you are, you you trust that inside person of you, and
Inside
even
self.
if yeah, even if something goes wrong, you say that okay, ठीक है, this didn't go well, but let's see, maybe something else can. And this is the inner talk, because we do a lot of inner talk
Talk.
analysis, and we help clients to understand. So this is so connected to the kind of work which we do, that your inner talk will represent how your world will be, and then all that what is going here in the mind, in the emotions, will have impact on the body.
Body.
Oh, so much. I mean, I just hope that people understand this and start listening to their bodies more.
Yes, yes, absolutely. They
Right?
have to, because this is really high time. If we want to stop this world from getting into these all these disorders and
Yes,
autoimmune pathologies, I think it's time that we need to understand this, accept this, and take a step ahead towards this. Yes.
of course. Wow. So beautifully put. Now, next question is, now I want to know, and I've always been interested in the homeopathic perspective on what we call as, when, because I know we had this conversation so many times, or even when I was consulting you, or even when we were talking as friends or sharing knowledge. The theory of homeopathy and the perspective of um, homeopathy on relationships. If you could elaborate, because I think that was, when we spoke about it, I loved it, and I think our viewers would love to know more about it too.
So here, as you know, Ashwini, I'm going to throw a bomb. It is because what now I'm going to talk about is very difficult to actually understand, because we always see that the relationship stress or the
Yeah.
problems in the relationship is because of the other person or
Right.
the
Right.
situation around us, right? But if I have to tell you or tell everybody around here that it is actually within us, does it,
Hmm.
it sounds little,
Wow.
it is shattering, no, it is shattering, but if you listen to me carefully, this is what exactly it is. It's never outside, it's
Mhm.
always within ourselves. The problem lies within ourselves. Now let me explain this to you,
Sure.
that stress what we say, it doesn't
Yeah.
arise from the external circumstances or the
Right.
situations of people.
Right.
It is actually how we perceive our situations around. It's
Hmm.
always our perception of the situation, of the people, of our relationships that are surrounding us. So it's
Right.
like, you are wearing red glasses, right? So everything in the world will appear red to you, right? So that isn't that your perception? Is the world red? No, right? But for you, it is a perception of yours that everything is red. Exactly the same thing happens. So let me take an example here. So suppose I am a person who is very sensitive to being spoken rude. Okay, I am very sensitivity. I have a great sensitivity to be talked rude or rudely, spoken to. So if somebody has just passed a normal comment without any meaning or any intention to it, but
Hmm.
because I have a heightened sensitivity, I will
Right.
perceive, I will perceive it as being rude. And I will say, oh, this person was so rude to me.
Right.
How dare he say that to me? How dare she did that to me? How she embarrassed me in public? So
Right.
this
Right.
was this the actual reality? No, it was our perception to the reality. So where did the stress arise from? The stress actually arises from within myself or from the people around.
Wow.
So
From
this
inside.
so this inside, what we say, is what we call the state of an individual in homeopathy. And
Okay.
this state or the height or the sensitivity of an individual, because everybody is not going to be affected by the same things. So if this same statement is made to you, and because you are not a person who has sensitivity to being rude, you will not feel anything. You will just take it as a passing comment, right? So different people react in different ways depending upon their own sensitivity, upon their own state of
State of mind.
health, and this state is actually the one which is ruling our entire life from childhood till we live, you know. This doesn't leave us because this is what is our inherent nature, which we are born and gifted with,
Hmm.
right? So this is basically where, so now if I just continue that same example,
Yeah.
what happens, how does it affect, like from the homeopathic perspective, we always keep saying that the cause of the disease, the root cause of the disease is in the mind, is in the state of a person. So I'll make you understand that as well. So somebody said something, I perceived it as being rude.
Yeah.
Now, because I have a state of mind where I feel that, oh, I'm not loved, oh, I'm not cared, that person doesn't care for me, that doesn't person doesn't, for that person, I do not exist, I'm of no importance, and I go into depression. Do you
Hmm.
see? The
Yes.
depression is the end result, the disease that you see today. When a person comes to you for healing, or when a patient comes to me in my clinic, you know we see this as the disease, but do you see where it has started from?
Wow.
The cause is where. So this out of proportion reaction that we have, in our day to day lives with different people in different relationships, is the cause for every illness, is the
Wow.
cause where everything starts from, you know and this is where our whole life is,
Yes.
right?
How we
So
react
in
to it.
exactly how we react to it, and this is the disease, this is what we are supposed to be treating, this is what we are supposed to be looking at. So
Wow.
who all are watching right now, I don't want you all to wait for the symptoms to come on your body, for
Correct.
any disease to come up. When you understand your emotions are going negative, you are not feeling, right or good, that is the time you should come up with it. That is the time you should seek for help. That is the time you should go to a healer or to a homeopath or to a counselor and sort at this level so that it
Yes.
doesn't go down on the physical
Into it.
body.
Yes. 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 And I think that's the reason, this is one thing which, even when I learned energy healing, one thing I learned is why do we see that a lot of people suffer in old age? What is, the aging process? So, this was one thing which I learned from one of my teachers, who told me that imagine करो आप वो emotions अंदर दबा के रख रहे हो 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. The body will start showing up one fine day, and we feel it is age related problem. But the truth is that your body gave you enough time to work on it, but it just, like cumulative interest, like how
Yes.
interest piles up, and
Yes.
it gets cumulative illness. And I was like, and that's exactly how, um, when a person who lives very long, there are people who live for 100 years and they say that I never had a disease, I never had anything happen to me, I lived quite well, and I died, the person dies of old age. Now these are the people who have a very healthy state of mind, and that's the reason they have never fallen sick. And we look at other things, we 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 look at other things in life, but we don't look at emotions. We don't look at
Yes,
the mental.
the mental plane.
Yes, totally, totally.
And
Point the
whatever we do no consciously is at a very conscious level. So
yes,
just say for example, this person that you just spoke, that
yeah,
I'm strong, that is a conscious cover, right? Where you
right,
are trying to cover your emotions with lot of affirmations, or when you do a lot of self-help books, or
right.
all of, they help you temporarily. But unless you take care of this sensitivity, this state of a person, the nature of the person, it is not going to leave. It is going to temporarily help you, but it is not going to stay for long. So there are
Yes,
some people who keep doing it very often, who
yes,
are into
yes,
this, meditation and all of this. So for them, it is helpful because
yes,
they do that cleansing, that
yes,
detoxification
yes,
every now and then. So it
yes.
is still at a very managed level. You
Managed level.
understand? But if
Yes,
somebody who's just not doing it, because in our fast-paced lives, nobody has the time. As you rightly said, everybody wants symptomatic relief. Everybody wants to just pop in pills. Everybody just wants to get rid of everything very quick. We
and a
don't
lot
have
of
time.
people, and Priyanka, a lot of people tell me that they don't believe in this. So I said, what do they don't believe in? So they said, so like for example, women come to me and they feel better about something, and then they say that my husband doesn't believe or my sister-in-law doesn't believe, but they are really sick, and I really feel if so I the theory which I put up here is healing is at four levels. Physical, of course, physically taking care of yourself, eating good food, going to the gym or walking, exercising, nutrition, that is the physical part. Then there is the mental and emotional part which we are speaking about, and also there is the spiritual part. So four
Yes.
levels, four healings. So as you said, yes, meditation and all, if you do, it helps you cleanse you spiritually. But I know so many people, Priyanka, who meditate, okay, who have been meditating for many years, but they are still sick because they have not gotten rid of the emotions and the mental clutter which they have accumulated. So I always, we always advise people that apart from doing spiritual practices, meditations, and all of that, also talk to someone, maybe a counselor, people like you, people like us. We also do Reiki counseling, spiritual counseling, someone like you who is a homeopath and does counseling, because the emotions will, get released. And then there is another category of people, which I said that they said we don't believe. So they will only do the emotional part of it, but they will not take care of cleansing their energy. So I think all of this together, and that's why I think in the future we need people like you and me to come together and
Absolutely,
do a lot of
absolutely.
things to create this awareness. So
Because we are
beautiful.
like two wheels of that cycle,
Yes,
without
yes.
one the other will not work.
Will
So
not
if you
function.
just keep doing at a conscious level, the subconscious
Yes,
will not help.
it
If
will
you
not.
just keep doing at the subconscious level, it will take a long time because consciously you're not doing anything. So it's when, when these two things go together is when the life journey will become much smoother and much healthier, I feel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. So beautifully put up. Now, my next question is, how can homeopathy help in such situations? So, um, I know a lot of times when we speak of collaborative work too, I always tell you that, Priyanka, what I can do is, yes, if there is someone who has come to me for energy healing and I feel they need some kind of homeopathic treatment, I can always refer them to you. So, because I tell you what happens, we meet a lot of people, there are different, everyone has a different story. In your words, everyone has a different emotional state. Am I correct? Yeah.
Yes, yes,
So everyone has a different emotional state, and every client is different. So we can't really put up that, people ask, Ashwini, how many sessions will it take? How many hours healing will be required? And I always say that it totally depends on the situation, because in the first appointment itself, we may not know. For some people, two appointments and they feel good. They start changing and things start shifting. For some people, they may need more. So that brings me to my question. In such people, if I meet such people and I advise them to see a homeopath, whether it is you or maybe someone else, if they are seeing and how can homeopathy help them in such kind of a situation?
So, as you said,
Yeah.
homeopathy is very individualistic. That's what you just
Yes.
said that
Yes.
every person is different.
Yes.
As we just spoke, like every individual is very different. Every individual has its own story, his or
Correct.
her own story, and
Correct.
that's where his or her state, what we say, and that needs to be taken. So I'm sure people must be wondering, like, what homeopathy will do? Will it change my situation? Will it change
Hmm.
my relationships? Will it
Yeah.
do some kind of magic? So I am a homeopath and I don't have a magic wand to just spring up and things will change. What it actually does is changes the way you perceive your reality.
Yeah.
It changes the way how you behave, right? So because once that behavior is altered, once that because now that we know that it's not the opposite person, it's always us who's in the center. So actually, when I had come across a reading where I had read this sentence and it's with me till now, that I don't know in what context it had come, but I just remember that it's only you is the reality, everything else is a delusion.
Yes.
So it's only you always in health and in illness, right? So we know that the reins are in our hands. So homeopathy, how it does help is it changes our perspective towards our situation, towards our relationships. I would like to carry forward the same example that, so as to
Yeah.
connect the thread. So
Yeah.
like we spoke of that rudeness example that I had given some time back, where I feel, so now take it as an
Hmm.
alternative route that can happen in this situation. Somebody
Correct.
passes a comment, I am sensitive to being rude, I feel the hurt, but
Yeah.
I choose to respond rather than react.
React.
How I respond, I feel hurt, I feel sad, I may communicate to the other person of what I have felt, or I may not communicate. But I try to understand from where it is coming from, trying to step into the other person's shoes, that because that other person also has his or her own state, no? Like you
True.
have,
True.
even
True.
that person has a sensitivity too, from where this is arising from. When I choose to respond like this, I do not react. I have removed my glasses. I have removed my red glasses, so I see everything in the clear
Clear.
perspective. And I don't react. So all that out of proportion argument that I had, oh, you don't love me, oh, you don't, is not happening here,
Right.
is deleted.
Right.
So
Right.
now you tell me, when my behavior changes, when my perspective changes, wouldn't your relationship also change?
Of course. Of course. And that's what we
And
also call as your point of view creates your reality. This is exactly what we talk about in access consciousness, and
yes,
I'm finding
well,
so much commonality with that. So yes.
because because we are all talking about the same thing, trying to achieve a holistic health or the healing at the
Approach.
highest primemost level, because
Yes.
that is why we are talking of the same thing. It's like
Right.
how religion is, everybody talks about God, basically we are all talking about a superpower in different ways,
Correct.
right? It's the same thing. So when you understand, when you respond rather than react, is what the homeopathic medicines will help you. Because these medicines are very carefully chosen and proven. They are proven first, and then when, as a homeopath, when we understand the opposite person's story and where it is
Yeah.
arising, we choose a
Yeah.
very perfect remedy which is matching to that state of health, that state
Correct.
of mind. And when
Right.
it, so it's like that jigsaw puzzle which just fits completely into it. And once
Yeah.
that fits, everything becomes clear. Then mystery solves. What happens is your perspective changes, your
Hmm.
coping up mechanisms become better. So how you deal with your imbalanced negative emotions, you deal it in a more positive. And that is
Right.
what these medicines can bring. These medicines,
Yeah.
which we call energy medicines, can actually do. To that level, they act, you know, at that very plane. It's not only just the physical plane, I have this problem, you treat this problem. No. Unless
Wow.
this gets solved, the physical plane or the physical body will not respond.
Hmm.
You
Wow.
understand? So
Yes, yes, I understand.
this is where the homeopathic perspective comes and what these medicines can actually do, and how they can save a lot of stress that we can have in our day-to-day lives.
Absolutely, and so beautiful put. Wow, I think, I'm sure I'm really enjoying. I'm mind blown. And we have, Namrata has put up some very nice, wonderful comments. So thank you, Namrata,
Thank
for
you.
watching. And yes, Priyanka is definitely cool. And Priyanka, we will have very soon. We'll talk about a bar session. You and me. Maybe we can take it offline. So Namrata is suggesting something amazing here. Wow, that's really wonderful. Priyanka, so now apart from homeopathy or apart from medicine, what else can you recommend to a lot of people who are watching us and who are watching us live probably here, and also who will watch us later? And a lot of people also tell me that Ashwini, whenever you put up these videos with the experts, it's really wonderful because we get to learn a lot. So I'm sure a lot of them will do that too. So yes, what apart from medicine would you recommend here to our viewers?
So as I said, only two wheels of a cycle, no? So the
Yeah.
other wheel, which I strongly believe, is what you can do in your day-to-day life as a daily practice, because that will
Mm-hmm.
help detoxify every day. So
Right.
simple things, but very, very powerful impact they have. Like
Right.
one
Right.
would be just time out, just pause
Right.
and time out. Everybody is running, everybody is in a race, everybody is, running, nobody has time. I always say that just pause for a bit.
Wow.
When you are really very stressed, when you have a difficult relationship, like, many of people, I have daughter-in-laws and mother-in-laws, and I know both the side of the story. Now, the best part is I know both the side of the story because the mother-in-law is also coming, the daughter-in-law is also coming. So you know that nobody is wrong, both of them are right, but both of them are standing at two different positions, not trying to understand each other's state.
Correct.
So
Correct.
when there is day to day, stress happening at the emotional level, I always feel that you should time out. You should, have this time out. What we do with children, we do this practice with children. You give them time out when they're not listening, instead of punishing them. So instead of punishing your own self by being, deeply affected by it, I think you should
Critical.
just cut off for that
Yeah.
moment, so as to gain and so as to, breathe and to understand, to have that time, like how I'm sure the healers also say, that just pause, breathe before you react to any
Yes.
situation or any external circumstances.
Yeah.
So this is first thing I would like to put up, to people. This is the time, like, you just go away from that thing, cut off from
Right.
that situation for that moment, because in that heated up moment, you might not know how you are going to react. And the minute you react, it's not for, and you know what, I want to come across that it's not for the other person that you are doing anything. It's for your own self that you are doing. Because at
Right.
the end, this stress is not going to affect the opposite person.
It's
It's
going to
going to
impact
affect
you.
you. See, exactly. You have to understand, suppose there is an argument and you win the argument, it's not that you are a winner. It's actually you are a loser at that point of time. Because you have created and generated all those stress hormones in your body, the fight
Yes.
flight reaction, and the whole range of hormones inside your body, that it is going to at the end ultimately affect your health, not the opposite
Correct.
person. You might have won the argument for that point of time, but you have lost your health in the bargain, which I think was the biggest loss here, right?
Yes.
So I
Yes.
think timeout is what I would suggest, the first thing. Then the second thing that I would say is open communication.
Yeah.
Nowadays people have forgotten to communicate. You know, we need an open and an honest communication, whether it is your
Yeah.
spouse, whether it is your boss, whether it is your sibling, whether it is your child, whether it is your parent. You need to openly communicate to them
Hmm.
before the relationship becomes, because
Worse.
you, yes, because then it just keeps worsening, no? it just piles up. You are wearing red glasses, opposite person is wearing blue glasses. So everything is just piling up. When you openly communicate, you're helping yourself, you're helping the other person as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So third thing that I would say is journaling.
That's my
I'm sure
favorite too. That's my
my
favorite.
favorite too.
And see, this is what I put next to my desk. So we had created this in 2019, and
Oh,
journaling is one of my forever. This was the journal which we had given to all our unicorn inside people. But apart from basic journaling, I do a lot of journaling for fun too. So, wow. But I want to hear from you. What does journaling mean to you?
see, for me, it is very simple. When you put down all your emotions, everything that you actually declutter your mind, all
Hmm.
that chaos that is going inside your
Absolutely.
mind, you put it on paper because
Yes.
not all the time you will have somebody to listen to.
Right.
Have some, so it's not always that you will have somebody who will hear you out or who you can ask for help. Because I feel, you should be more self Atmanirbhar.
Right.
We come from India and we
Atmanirbhar,
believe that
yes.
you be Atmanirbhar. So journaling is something where you put down everything,
Yeah.
whatever is there in your mind. You can just scribble, you can just doodle, you can just do
Dump.
whatever you want.
It's like a dump. It's like a mental
It's
dump.
just a dump here. But when you put it on paper, what exactly happens is when you look at it, you can actually see what is the reality, what is my perception, and how I can distinguish between the two.
Yeah.
And that helps you to appropriately respond to the situation at that point of time. Yeah.
Wow.
So the fourth is the most important, which I feel, which I think is also somewhere, taking a back seat, is
Right.
any form of physical activity or an exercise or an unwinding time. Like
That's my
people,
favorite too.
I come up with people. So recently I had a patient, who has XYZ disease. And now while the case was on and the consultation was going on, I came to know that she had a passion for dance. And then because as she grew and, with increasing responsibilities in life, things changed, priorities changed, the dance went to the
Yeah.
backstage. You know, the first thing I said, before you start with my medication, you first start dancing.
Dancing.
And she said, but I said, you don't have to dance for anybody. Just dance for yourself. Close your room, put on some music that you like, and dance whatever you want. Just move your body. Just have movement in your body. And trust me, today she tells me I feel so much better with my own self. So, because this is so very important to unwind yourself,
Yeah.
because having that me time, having that your own time, once you have that, there is a lot of a realization that happens. This is like that a reflecting back period where
Yeah.
you understand and you respond rather than react to a situation, and it saves so much of your energy. It saves so much, because all this free energy now, which otherwise goes into a lot of negative emotions, when it comes towards the positive side, it can be channelized into so much. You can achieve so much in life. You can be so much progressive in your life. Be it whatever. I'm not talking only for working people. I'm talking for even homemakers. I'm talking for even old people who are retired. I'm talking for
Yeah.
children who are still studying. But all this positive energy, all this can be used for very constructive purposes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these are few. Now, this is not going to cost you a lot of time, and
Yes.
neither a lot of effort goes into it. It's just consistency with all these things. And then there are people like you and me who
Of
come,
course, we're always there.
which come into picture to really help. Because sometimes what happens is people who do this are still not feeling, good about
Yes.
themselves, or they are still not able to deal with their situations, or
Yes.
they are aware of their pattern, but they're not able to do anything about
Because they
it. And
don't have
that's
the
where,
tools.
yes, and that's where people like you and me come into picture, where therapists come into picture, where a homeopath or a Reiki healer or an access bar person, come into picture to help
Yes.
them out, to understand this, and, go ahead, uh,
Yes.
creating a better life for themselves.
Definitely. And there is so much, I think, in this what time, what the short shorter time we spoke, I think there is so much awareness which even I'm able to join a bit of dots, connecting it to my work, and I really am. I'm totally amazed by all of this information. So thank you so much. It was like really a wonderful talk, and I didn't realize where all this time just flew, because we can go on forever, but of course, time is
Because
limited. Yeah,
this is coming from the heart, no?
it is coming.
It's not. I don't have a presentation. It's just that it's coming from the heart. And
Yes,
we both are actually trying to do that, and that's
yes,
why it does connect to more people, and that's why many people who are watching now or will watch us later will connect to
yes.
what we have just spoken about.
Because it is connecting आपके दिल से मेरे दिल से उनके दिल तक. So I'm sure it's going to. And yes, I feel that if anyone is watching this video, whether it is now or later, and if this was, most people will watch this video if they really need to hear that. We always say that in healing too. Agar aap ye dekh rahe ho, even when we talk about angel cards, if you read a card and if it resonates with you, it's for you. So similarly for all the people, if you are watching this and if it resonates with you, it's for you. So yes, we can take up any questions, if anyone has any questions, and we can ask Dr. Priyanka, or if you're watching it later, maybe you can drop it as a comment. And
We
and
would be
yes,
happy.
yes,
I
and
would
if
be
you
happy
are,
to help.
she'll be happy to help. And if you are looking to consult her, she practices in Mumbai. Her brand is Srishti Homeo Care. She also does online consultations. So if you're not based in Mumbai and you are looking for a homeopathic support, I think she has patients all over the world, right? So if you're not even based in India, I know a lot of people who are not in India are looking for a homeopathic physician. Dr. Priyanka can consult you over a video call. She can, send you the medicines. She does that with all her overseas patients too. So please do not hesitate. Um, in this video, below this video, I will be sharing her page details, or email, or whatever ways, like Priyanka, whatever the way you like your patients to
Yes.
connect to you, please let me know so that we can share it here. And please do not hesitate to reach out to her. And as I say, she's a lovely person too. So yes, any
So
questions?
I,
Yeah, yeah, please go on, Priyanka.
no. So if there are any questions,
Hmm. Let us maybe wait for a few seconds and see if anyone has a question. Guys, if you're having a question, put it below as a comment, whether it is YouTube, whether it is Facebook, whether it is my page, whether it is the Unicorn University group. Do not hesitate, please ask. And I think apart from that, I had a great time talking to you, learning so much.
so I always end up all my live talks with one quote that health is not a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice that we have.
Choice.
And we
Yes.
were always gifted with health, but we had lost it somewhere in the process. And now it's the time where we have to reclaim and regain
Okay.
it.
So beautifully said. So
So if
beautifully
this
said.
is the time when we should get our health back, get the gift that we've been gifted with back.
Which is God has given us this gift. We really need to take it back. Wow. I
And
guess we have
today we are having this talk on the day of Holi. And I
Holy.
always feel that Holi is no, it's all about colors. So I feel, this is the best day for this talk, where, I would wish and want that everybody, adds colors to their
To them.
relationships and to their life, and, just go ahead with them, and bring, very colorful and
Absolutely.
healthy and happy life.
Absolutely. So I am sure, you all have got some lovely wisdom, and of course your holy wishes too from Dr. Priyanka. Well, if we don't have any questions, we can call it a day. And grateful to you, Dr. Priyanka, for this the beautiful insights, for all your time, your energy, and sharing so much wisdom. And yes, I look forward to have another talk with you sometime on the Unicorn University soon, maybe on some other topic. And till then, wishing you and your family a very happy Holi, lots of love, best wishes. And now that the world has started opening up, let's meet in person soon and maybe
Sure.
have a cup of coffee together.
Sure. 100%. It will be a pleasure.
Thank you, Priyanka, and thank you everyone for watching. Gratitude, love, and please write about how you like this talk below. And thank you very much. Bye
Thank you
bye.
so much. Bye.
Bye bye.